Throughout most of this course, we have been focused on Ford automobiles and Ford locks. However, I did explain how to use the VIN number from any automobile and get the key code and make the key. So for the next part of this course, I want to branch out to a different manufacturer, and we're going to program a key to a Chrysler product. We're going to use a 2007 Dodge Dakota, and I'm going to make sure that the programming does not go smoothly. We're going to encounter some problems, and we're going to have to solve the problems to get the key programmed. The situation that you're going to see unfold with the 2007 Dakota is exactly the situation that I found myself in some years ago when I began programming Chrysler keys. And I'm sure that if I don't explain this to you, that it's quite possible that you'll find yourself in the same predicament. So this example will show you how to program a key to a Chrysler product, but it will also demonstrate some of the things that you might need to know if the programming does not go smoothly. We're going to get the basic facts about the 2007 Dodge Dakota we're going to make a key for and program. We're going to use Fast Facts this time. And the way Fast Facts works is the front has basically an index of the cars and trucks in alphabetical order by manufacturer and then by model. And so if we go to Chrysler and then go to Dodge and then we would go to Dakota, pickup would be here. That's a 2007. We're going to zoom in on this. Okay, right here, Dodge Dakota 2005, 2007. This is the code series of the locks here. M0001 through 2618. It's a 8-cut lock. The type of programming system is the SCAN, and then that really is not important for us to know right now. I'm not going to try to get into all the different types of systems that are out there to read transponders, but it basically has to do with the type of system, transponder system that's in that vehicle. And then here it says plate CH27. So we turn to CH27. Okay, this is the plate. CH27 is the one it referred us to. Notice it doesn't say Dodge, though it says Chrysler, but this is the right one. And it has a lot of information on this, part numbers and so on for the different locks. It says that when you cut the key, you gauge it from the tip. It doesn't have a shoulder to gauge from. If you want to use tryout keys, it tells you the Aero set TO93 or the Baxter set 97. If you want to try to use a reader to read the wafers in the door lock, you would be reading positions 2 through 8. This is the tumbler locations. It says the ignition is 1 through 7, door 2 through 8, trunk is 2 through 8, glove box 5 through 8. Then it has your basic space and depth information. It says that a working key would be Y159. So that's how you use this book. You simply, again, you go to the front, find the manufacturer and then the model. In the front, there'll be a plate number. Go to that plate and that'll be the information for that vehicle. Now there's a lot more information in this book. There is a help section for making keys for different vehicles. So there's a lot more than just the plates that we were looking at, but there's a whole section here to help you out and understand the keys and transponders and all kinds of things. And then in the back of this, which could come in useful if you want to get into motorcycles, there's a motorcycle, snowmobile, and ATV section, which again does the same thing as I showed you with the cars. You look up the model of the motorcycle, and then you would turn to the correct plate, in the back and get the pertinent information that you would need to make a key for a motorcycle. Now, if we wanted to check the Michael Hyde transponder book on the 2007 Dodge Dakota, simply go to the Dodge section, and we'll get to the right page here. It says for Dakota, page 142 for the 2005 through 2009. So we'll go to page 142. Then I'll zoom in on it here a little bit and we can see it closer up. But again, this is the same basic information that was presented when we looked at the Ford Expedition. Key blanks from different manufacturers, basic information about the key, test keys of Y157 or 159, max number of keys is 8, and so on. And then down at the bottom again, it'll show which programmers will work. And notice here now that it does say PIN code required. We have to have the PIN code for Chrysler products. The MVP Pro, the T code, and then the Silka will all work to program this vehicle. This 2007 Dodge Dakota pickup. We're going to make a key for this using the VIN number. We're going to call a supplier that will supply us the key code from the VIN number and simply make the key and then program the key in. And of course, being that this is a Chrysler product, we're going to ask the supplier that supplies the key code to also provide the 4-digit PIN number that we'll need to program the key. There's often 3 locations to get the VIN number from a vehicle. We can look through the windshield onto the dash, and normally you'll be able to just look in there and see the VIN number. Second location, on the driver's side door, there's often a tag on newer vehicles, and there's one down there. And then the third one would be over there in the glove box off of the registration. Okay, here's the key I cut. Called and got the code, cut the key. That whole process took less than 15 minutes. On this Dakota, the OBD port is right up here where it's real easy to get to. We'll go ahead and put our tester on that. And again, the lights are on the wrong side, so it's hard to see the lights. You can see that the correct light is on, indicates we got power and that it's okay to use that port. So we just plug in to the port with one end of the cable. The other end of the cable goes to the programmer. Okay, when it's first plugged in, it lights up. TKO comes up with a screen that says to press F1 to continue. Then we have to put a password in. Once the correct password is in, a screen will flash for just a second that says correct password. Then it shows you the volts on the vehicle, and it will come up with the main menu. We will choose the immobilizer, which is the first one right here. And we hit enter. Now we're going to go down through all these vehicles and find the Dodge Dakota. Okay, so there we have the Dodge. Now it's going to ask us to locate the correct one. Okay, this Dakota. And we want the one that says 07 through 011 because this is an 07 Dakota. We hit enter. Tells us the cable to use. We have that cable already hooked up. Hit enter. It says to insert a key and turn on the console. Okay, so there are the keys going in. We turn it on. But now we have to hit enter. So please wait connecting. Program new keys, yes. It says number of keys in memory. new key adding, and so on. We can check how many keys are in memory. Number of keys is 2. Press any key. Then we're going to go program new keys, new key adding. Hit enter. It says we're going to have a PIN number. So let's put in the PIN number. PIN number for this vehicle was 6937. Okay, and it's asking for key number, how many keys we're going to put into it. Put in 1. Okay, so it says, again, it says to insert the 1 key and then hit enter. Turn the ignition on and hit enter. Ignition's on, please wait. Okay, so the screen that came up says, if the warning light on the console is blinking, repeat the procedure because an error with the keys has occurred. Then it says to press any key. I want to show you on the dash the blinking red dot that indicates a security issue with this new key. So normally when you get the keys programmed, normally something will be blinking many times and then it will go solid, and either go solid or just go out. So that's something that you can pay attention to when you're programming. Okay, well, the key did not program, and so this is a pretty good example of what can happen to you. It says ECU disconnected. I went back through it a second time, and then it came up ECU disconnected, press any key. So we're gonna go through it again. I'm gonna unplug it and start the whole process over, and we'll see if it'll do it. Okay, well, I'm kind of glad this happened because this is not real unusual, and it can be frustrating. Sometimes, probably most of the time, you can program these keys using either the MVP Pro or the TKO, and you'll have no problems. But 20-25% of the time, you're going to have situations where, for whatever reason, the key will not program. Okay, if a key is not programming properly, one of the first things that you may consider is putting a booster on the battery. And it's a good idea to always have one of these little booster packs with you. They're very convenient. They hold a charge for a long time. Many of the cars that you get called out to make keys for will not have been started for some time, and often the batteries are low. Consequently, if there's not enough voltage, you cannot program the keys. So I have 2 of these, and I always carry one in my van, and I always have one charging. Also, always use caution when charging a battery. I once had a battery blow up on me, and they are dangerous. One thing that's nice about these packs here is that you can hook your cables up, and then you can stand back as far as the cables will let you stand back before you turn it to on. And just a suggestion, always turn your face away from the battery when you do that. I did have a friend that was blinded in one eye by a battery blowing up. So that's something to think about when you're doing this kind of work, is always use extreme caution, extreme safety. If you're not sure how something works, it's best to get instruction before you go forward with that. Now here's a picture of what an exploded car battery looks like, and if you go on the internet and do some research, you can find quite a few pictures and stories about this topic. Many people suffer serious eye injury every year while working around car batteries. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions when testing, charging, jumping, or doing any kind of work with or around car batteries. Okay, the next thing to do is go to our guide for our TKO and go to tips, technical tips. We look up the Dodge, which we have right here, and talks about an issue with the software here. And without reading all this to you, basically we have to take the shroud off from around the steering column, And we're going to unplug the lead that goes to the ECU box. They want us to wait 5 minutes and then plug that back in and try it again. So we'll try that. Okay, if we're going to pull the shroud apart, we're going to need to look and see what screws are holding it. I would suggest getting a mirror, a little inspection mirror. It makes it a lot easier to look up underneath the dash, and oftentimes you can tell if it's a Phillips screw or a torque head screw or just what it is you're dealing with. But here on this Dodge Dakota, there's one screw that holds on this adjustment handle for the steering column, and then there's 3 screws. These are all torque head 15 screws, one here and then 2 up underneath here. And once you got the screws out, there'll be some snaps possibly, or little catches that hold the top shroud and the bottom shroud together. Just go around and push in until they all free up, and it should come off of there fairly easily. Of course, every manufacturer and every model is different, but basically the more modern cars normally will have 2 or 3 screws on the bottom and then some snaps, and both parts will just come off. Okay, here's the black ECU box. Here's the connector down here. Again, the suggestion was to disconnect this for 5 minutes and then connect it back and try to reprogram the keys. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, now to get that wire out, I had to just go ahead and remove this, which is really no big deal. It has a screw up under here. There was 1 screw, and then it has 2 clips. Just take the screw out and take a flat blade screwdriver and loosen those clips very gently. This is all plastic, you want to be careful, but you just kind of pry up on the ends of those clips and the thing just comes off. Then I can get the wire out of that thing. Okay, we've unplugged that for a few minutes. I put it back on. We're going to see if this will program this now. It says to insert the key and turn it on. Key's in there. Please wait connecting. The warning light is out and it's programmed. Well, guess what? The warning light is not out. So that didn't work. I'm going to try it one more time and then we're going to cut a new key for it. Okay, now this is the key that I cut for this vehicle. This is a Stratec 692352 key. It is the correct key. See the Stratec name on it. So I'm going to take that key and I'm going to lay it up on the dash up here so we know where it is and we don't confuse it with a new key that I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut another key, and I'm also going to cut a test key, Y157 test key, and we're going to try to program a new key using a test key and another Stratec 692352 key. Okay, I've got 2 new keys cut here. I got a Y157 test key, and then I have our chip key again. And we're going to program this again, but this time when the machine says to turn on the ignition, we're going to use this test key without the chip in it. And we're not going to insert the chip key until it says insert new key. Okay, so you can see it says insert a key and turn on the console. And again, we're using just a regular key for that. Okay, then we have to press enter. So program new keys. We're going to go to the new key adding. We have to have a pin code. We'll put the pin code in again. Now it's asking for the number of keys. We're going to put 1 and hit enter. It says insert the 1 key to be programmed and turn the ignition on. Okay, well, we had the other key in there, so we're going to take that out. And I might point out that the light on the dash is blinking up there. So, but anyway, we're going to take this key out, put in our new key, turn it on, and it says press any key. says connecting, and it says if the warning light on the console is blinking, repeat the procedure because an error with the keys has occurred. Now if we look up here now, we see there is no light. Okay, so the difference is that on these Chrysler keys, you cannot put the key in until it asks you to put the key in. Chrysler keys are different in that the chip in here is what's called a read-write chip. And when you put it in here and you turn it on, it sends a signal that writes a code on here. And if you put it in too quick, it'll write the wrong code on there, and then the key is run. So kind of went through this, picked this Chrysler to show this for a couple of reasons. One, you need a PIN number to program the keys, and you have to be extra careful as to when you put your new key into the ignition. But the light's out, so it should start. Now the next thing it will do, we'll unplug the programmer. Let me reach down here and do that. Notice the light's still out. Let's see if it will start. Starts, and it died. Let's try it again. Okay, the lights are out, the security lights are out up here. Nothing is flashing. Our key is properly programmed. Now your TKO will come with an operating manual, so double check and make sure that you've followed all of the steps in your operating manual and all of the tips that are in the TKO guide. But if you've double checked everything, all the tips, you've checked to make sure you have the right key, you know the battery has plenty of power, then you can go ahead and call tech support and see if you can get tech support as to why the TKO is not programming that key. One problem that I have found with the TKO is that their support is on the East Coast, and they close at 5 o'clock Eastern time. So that is a bit of an issue if you need help after 5 o'clock Eastern time. But those are the steps that you would go through, and then as a last resort, you could call for tech support. Please take just a moment to like the video and also subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.